I'm Selna Kim, America's face of dating, and today we have a very, very great DM to go through from a man, I believe his name is Andre. And the summary of this is really that there's this girl in his class, and I'm assuming that he kind of asked her out or got her number, but he's interested in her, but she's really not showing interest back in him whenever he tries to get her out in person. And there's a few mistakes that he's making in here, but if you're in a similar position, let's say that you're in the classroom setting, you have to be very, very strategic about how you go about getting that girl on a date, especially if you're sitting next to her or you're good friends with her friends, because if you ask her out and she says no or you make it very, very awkward, then that kind of ruins your relationship with her, her friends, and you, right? And so it's like you have to be very, very strategic about how you go about getting with this girl. And so he said that she's basically asking him for the answers on the test, but whenever he basically asks her out on a date, she's like, I'm just not really interested and blah, 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 but we can still talk about the answers for the test, of course. Of course you can do that, right? Of course I can use you for your test answers, but go on a date with you? Fucking no way. And so let's see what we can do that will really help him in this situation here. And so we have the DM right here, and so I'm really fucking excited for this one, so let's just get right into it. He says, "Hello, I've been watching your TikToks lately, and you have helped me getting a date with a girl I barely know. But something happened, and I don't know what to say. Could you give me some advice?" So I went on a date with this girl. Just asked her out spontaneous, and she accepted. So I waited 2 weeks to text her again for a second date/meeting, and she responded with, "Isn't that nice? People fucking racing outside, you probably hear it." So he said, so I waited 2 weeks to text her again for a second date/meeting. She responded 20 hours later. Look at that, 20 hours later. There is no woman in the world, if she's interested in a man, that is going to text him 20 fucking hours later, right? If she's interested, it's gonna be at most 2 or 3 hours probably, but she will always get back to you. There's no girl I've ever met in my life, whether that's a model, actress, supermodel, influencer on Instagram or TikTok, that have taken 20 hours to reply. It's just not, it just shows that she's not very interested right now. And he already said that he went out on a date with her. Andre, you said you went out on a date with her one time, and you didn't really elaborate on how that date went, but I'm assuming it didn't go good, or maybe you were texting her a lot. But he also said that he waited 2 weeks to text her again for a second date or meeting. And here's the thing is that if you do everything right on the first date, then she's going to be hitting you up that night after the first date. And she's going to be like, hey, like, thank you so much. Like, I had a really, really good time with you tonight. And you're going to be like, and all you have to do is say, hey, thanks. Like, I had a really, really great time with you as well. And then that's where you leave it at. And then she'll probably text you back. And then you wait the next day to text her back. She'll probably be like, oh, yeah, like, when are we going to do it again? And blah, blah, blah. And she's going to hint at it. If she's really, really into it, she's going to hint at getting back together with you. Because when all you have to say is, thanks, I had a really great time with you as well. Because she's like, well, this is the chase for the woman. Because what's she like there? She's like, damn, she's like, maybe he didn't have a good time with me. Like, he was pursuing me from the start, but now did he not have a good time? Like, was I not a good kiss? Or did my breath stink? I got to reach out to him now. I got to see what's on his mind, right? I got to see if he cares about me, if he likes me. And that's what excites women. They will never fucking admit that. They'll be like, no, fuck that. You got to be a nice guy and buy me flowers and unload your bank account for me and buy me Ferraris and take me on fancy dates and buy me fucking Gucci. That's what they say. But when you as a man do that shit, what happens? She tends to go date another guy. She tends to go date your best friend or something, right? But when you act like the bad boy who's like, I want to make you chase me a little bit. I'm a high value motherfucker. I'm a high status motherfucker. And you're going to chase me, baby. Because that's how it works around my parts. She's going to be like, damn, no, I like him. The chase is real. But he says, I left her. He says, so I waited 2 weeks to text her again and ask for a second date. She responded 20 hours later with, hi, I have work that time. I left her on read because I knew she was acting weird with her response time and not showing enough interest to reschedule. Why'd you leave her on read, bro? Like, that just kind of shows that you're kind of butthurt about it. Like, you kind of care about it too much. And the reason I know is because, like, why else would you email me about this whole situation if you didn't care about it, right? So you clearly do care about it. And leaving her on read just shows like you're kind of butthurt about it, you're kind of upset about it. I don't recommend that. What I would have done in that situation is if she was like, "Hi, I have work at that time," I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, I totally understand. Um, Later in the week when you know your schedule, your work schedule specifically, like, hey, let me know it, and let's get together then." And that's all you gotta. Then you leave it at that. She probably wouldn't respond to that, or she'd be like, "Okay, like sure, like I'll let you know." And then all you have to do is just let it sit, let her figure it out, and let her miss you, right? Let her come to you. That's the most important about this. Like, don't leave her on read because that just tells her that you're butthurt about it. That you're like, well, fine, I'm just gonna not text you then because you don't want to go on a date with me. Like, come on, man. That's very, very forceful. It's very, very insecure. And people, they tend to project how they feel about themselves. And so if you feel unconfident, if you feel uncomfortable, if you feel, unworthy, that comes out in the way that you communicate, especially with girls that you like. And you clearly like this girl. And if you're unconfident, then you're going to project it through the way that you act. And that's by leaving her on read and being kind of passive aggressive in that manner. So don't do that, bro. You're better than that, especially if you're on Team SK. This is high quality shit right here. He says, "I knew she was acting weird with her response time and not showing enough interest to reschedule." You're right about that. She wasn't showing enough interest to reschedule, and that's when you just leave it be. That's when you're like, whatever. She'll come to me when she comes to me. But then she added my number and double texted me a day later with a question about the test that we did together. So we talked a bit about school and vacation. This gave me motivation to ask her where I actually stand with her. You never want to ask a woman where you stand with her. You never fucking do that. Do you think that you would see me or Jason Capital or James Bond or Harvey Specter from Suits asking a woman, where do I stand with you? Right? Where do I stand with you? It's such a needy question. Never ask a woman where you stand with her. Why would you do that? That's basically screaming to her, hey, I want a relationship with you. Why don't you fucking want a relationship with me? What the fuck? I'm a good guy. Why don't you want a relationship? Right? It's like screaming to her that you want to tie her down to a relationship right now and you're frustrated with the fact that she doesn't want you. That's what that speaks to me when you're like, where do I stand with you? Right? Where do I stand with you? You want the woman to be wondering that, not the guy, not you. And when you do that, when you act like a woman, it tends to turn other women off, even though they say they want that. I understand. If you ask your mom for advice, or your cousins, or your family, usually they're going to be like, oh, you want to spoil her, you want to take care of her, you want to call her pretty every morning, and blah, 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 blah. And when you do that, it just makes them throw up. They're like, I want a real man that's going to make me chase. That, they don't say that. Look at what her actions are, which you are doing in a way. You're like, okay, I notice that she's not rescheduling. I notice that she's not interested in me. You're looking at her actions, but you're only looking at it about like halfway. He says, so I said 1 week later, for the previous time was really fun. We should meet up again soon. After 20 hours, she said, yeah, I'm not sure. It's really fun, that's for sure, but I'm not in the mood to date anyone at the moment, I think. So I responded with, I understand it perfectly. Good. It's good that you were honest. I will leave you alone. Again, 24 hours later, she responded with, ha ha ha, leave me alone. We can still ask each other questions. Excuse me. He says, I'm from the Netherlands, by the way, so sorry for my English. No, I think you did a great job with this email. I could understand it perfectly. There's some people I get a DM from or email from, and I'm like, bro, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about in this shit, and I don't have time to correct it or even ask. I deal with some of the best, highest value clients in the fucking world. It's like I don't have time to like spell check everything, but you did a great job here, bro. But here's the thing, bro, is like you did a great job spell checking this shit, making sure it's good. You could use some work in your approach with this girl. And that's just me being straight up honest with you. I don't know if you've read my book, man. I talk about literally like, it just sounds like you need to put some attraction triggers in there to show her who the man that you really are that's going to make her interested. And I talk about that a lot in my book about how to actually inject those properly into the conversation. That's going to make her want you. And I really want you to hop in this book if you've not hopped in this book yet. And especially if you're not in my private membership page, my AMP installment, where I literally talk about the most advanced stuff about attraction and dating, you got to get inside of that, man, because it will literally change your life, man. Everybody that's in there, they're getting results beyond what they ever dreamed of. And it's like, if you're not in there, dude, like you got to get in there. and watch all those videos, read all of my articles. I try to upload it daily, but I upload it weekly just because I want to get higher quality content in there and higher quality over quantity of content in there, if that makes sense. But you said the previous time was really fun. We should meet up again soon. After 20 hours, she said, yeah, I'm not sure. It's really fun. She said, yeah, I'm not sure. It's really fun. That's for sure. It's really fun, but I'm still not going to go out with you. If it was so fucking fun, look at what she's saying versus what she's doing, right? She's like, oh, it's really fun. That's for sure. It's really fun, but I'm not going to date you. It's like, look at her actions. If it was really fucking fun for her, she'd be going out with you. She's just telling you what you want to hear so she doesn't hurt your feelings, if that makes sense. She says she's not in the mood to date anyone at the moment, I think. That means that when a woman says, I'm not in the mood to date anyone, the very first crush I had in middle school and high school, I still remember it to this day. It was this varsity soccer player. I look at her today and I was like, I really don't know what I was thinking. But, back then I was like, this is the one I've wanted my entire life. I chased her for 3 fucking years. I asked her out like 4 times, like asked her to be my girlfriend, not just on a date, like to be my girlfriend, right? She said no every single time. I remember the very last time I did it, I went like all out, like balls to the wall, like bought shit, asked her to be my girlfriend, and she was like, like, you're a great guy, but I'm just not sure. I don't have time right now to date somebody. I'm so busy with school, and it's basically just exactly this, but just a little bit different word choice, right? Like, I'm not in the mood to date anyone in the moment, I think, right? It's just like, they're trying not to hurt your feelings because you probably are a cool guy. You're cool to her. And let's just keep it aside that she wants the fucking answers to the test. So of course she's going to tell you what you want to hear. Right? But it's like, you're like, good. I understand it perfectly. It's good that you were honest. I will leave you alone. I wouldn't have said that, bro. I wouldn't have said like, I'm going to leave you alone now. I would have just been like, hey, you know what? I totally understand. If you change your mind, then you know where to call me. And then you leave it as that. And if she hits you up again, and she's like, hey, it's great to hear from you. What are you doing? Then all you have to do is just be like, hey, it's great to hear from you. We should just go out and grab a bite to eat to catch up. Right? That's all you got to do, man. It's really just that fucking easy. But it's just like, it sounds like she's just trying to use you for your fucking exam answers, which is not the position that you want to be in, right? You're getting nothing from this. If she's trying to use you for your exam answers, fuck that shit. Like, no. If she hits you up and asking about questions and shit, you could probably be like, you know what? I just don't have it finished yet. I'm going to do it later though. And then we could probably talk later about it. And then you just don't hit her up, right? It's like, if she really cares about you, then she wouldn't be hitting you up just for your fucking exam answers. If she really wanted to be with you, she would be with you for you. And it's just like, the next time she hits you up, you can like tease her on that and be like, oh, like you're just trying to hit me up for my exam answers, aren't you? Like, you're just using me. You're just telling me everything I want to hear. Like, stop it. I know what you're on to. You're not going to get me though. Like I got everything. I got an A+. I'm not going to give it to you though. I'll give you one answer. That's it. That's all you deserve though. Like play with her, have fun with her, man. Like, this is so serious right here. Like, read your email. It's completely fucking serious. Like tease her, make her laugh, man. Be that charming man that got her on the date to begin with, because I guarantee you, when you got her on the date to begin with, like you just said, you were not talking about, I want to know where I stand with her. You weren't that serious with her. You're just having fun with her. Go back to that guy, because that's what attracted her to begin with. Go back to that point. That's what you need to do right now. You need to have fun with her, attract her, tease her. That's what you want to fucking do. And like I said, like, if you need help with that, bro, jump into my AMP installment, man. Like, it is crucial that you learn this stuff. And like, I wish that I learned everything and I know everything that I know now, that if I was your age, like, this will be the wisest investment that you ever will make in your lifetime, because the stuff that you're going to get out of it, the knowledge and the psychology, this is stuff that barely anyone else in the world even fucking knows. And it's critical that you at least read the book, man. Like this, like, look at all the reviews, man. I got people that DM me every single day telling me like that my book has changed their fucking life. This is not a fucking joke here. This is not some bullshit that I'm trying to fucking just sell to you to make a quick buck, dude. This shit will change your fucking life forever. And so on that note, if you want to work with me one-on-one, by the way, then you can go to my website or DM me on Instagram and ask to work with me one-on-one, and we'll see if I can fit you into my schedule and if you qualify to work with me. But anyways, on that note, I'm Selna Kim, America's face of dating, and I will see you next time.